New Galaxy Broadcasting proudly presents Integrative Hermetic Health with Hugo Rodier, MD. In this program, we explore a powerful new paradigm for health from the standpoint of integrative medicine. In his practice, Dr. Rodier integrates the ancient Hermetic art and the enduring role of food as medicine with modern nutrition, but also allowing for the wide range of important health practices, including truly valuable medical discoveries, chiropractic, acupuncture, homeopathic, and herbal medicine. In this program, Hugo Rodier, an expert in intestinal health and nutrition, will help the audience discover an approach that focuses on actual cures, not the masking of the elegant simplicity of many health solutions for the sake of profit. Profit too long has been an overriding motive of the pharmaceutical companies, and sometimes, sadly, by many in the medical establishment today. This is Johnny Bluestar. My company, New Galaxy Enterprises, is a California corporation specializing in the creation of media and promotional content. Projects could be nonfiction books or novels, screenplays, commercials, audio or video products, musical scores for ads, TV or film, etc. If you need help to accomplish your goals, visit newgalaxyenterprises.com or contact me at johnnybluestar@gmail.com. Turn your vision into a dazzling media reality. Manifest your media dream today. Some say that the history of medicine has been continually evolving since the time of the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates. But today, some experienced and knowledgeable doctors beg to differ. They clearly see forms of medical treatment that often serve to suppress symptoms with pharmaceuticals that have dangerous, if not fatal, side effects. Also, recommendations for surgical intervention that place profitability over the well-being of their patients. These doctors refuse to include in their practice the many modern and ancient health disciplines utilizing herbs, homeopathic remedies, acupuncture, and above all, the power of nutrition. Many of the most useful insights are grounded in Hermetic science developed hundreds of years ago. Hugo Rodier, MD, author, broadcaster, and practicing physician, has spent his career focusing on nutrition and intestinal health. In fact, only now medical journals are coming to terms with the guiding points of view he had realized decades ago. Please join with me, Johnny Bluestar, as I assist Dr. Hugo Rodier in his new program, Integrative Hermetic Health. Hi, Hugo, are you there?
Yes.
So, can you tell us something about the ancient Hermetic arts? I mean, first of all, how did you get involved in looking at something so old and so much forgotten by the modern world, and how have you integrated this into your practice of medicine?
Well, it goes to how my mind works. I'm a forest type of guy, not a tree guy, if you know what that means. And so since I was a child, I thought that integrating diverse ideas is the way to go. And if I could put them together, make sense of the forest, then I didn't think I was seeing the true picture. Of course, we need both points of view. We need people that focus on trees as well. So that's a true integrative approach. As a child, then I was born right-handed, and I played a lot of soccer. And I thought, hey, my left hand is just sitting there. All I do with it is pick my nose, and my left foot, never use it and on the field. And so I began to train myself to use my left side. That is to train my right brain, if you will. And so I think that helped me tremendously. So then, being pretty much a foreigner in Chile myself, never knowing where I fit in, I had a more global approach to my thinking, and that did wonders for me. So as I began to study more officially, I began to focus on history, on anthropology, on philosophy, on religion, theology, not just the medical field. And I was naive enough to think that a doctor would need to put all these things together to become a true healer in the mode of physicians of old that looked at the whole person. And so I naively thought that I'd be trained that way when I got to medical school. And of course, that sounds like a joke if you know how medical schools teach people. So naturally, obviously, I was quite disappointed. I was being trained in medical school to become a vending machine for the pharmaceuticals. You know, you push a button, A2, and here comes the drug. And, you know, a monkey can do that. And so,
well, it's a very mnemonic type of training too. It's like you're memorizing a great deal of things, but you're not necessarily really thinking about them in any kind of philosophical way.
Exactly. So the only thing I learned in medical school is where the library was. And so I began to study out of journals, even in medical school. And when I graduated, I began to read 150 journals a month. And so I began to see that textbooks and what doctors were saying throughout the country was quite dated. And in the process, I began to see that we were just treating symptoms and not addressing root issues of diseases, because that's what the pharmaceutical wants. And while there's a place for pharmaceuticals, we all know that, they're quite overused and they never address the root issues. But at the same time, I was beginning to become a man in the sense of the word, meaning I wanted to know about my own identity, my own thoughts, my own philosophy, a bit of religious upheaval, if you will, that we might get into it later. But so I began to dig deep into history and anthropology and the roots of human thinking. And I began to see that all those old things, old ideas, are being corroborated by modern physics. And one thing led to another. Pretty soon I was looking at mythology, at how the ancients perceived the world and the gods. And I began to see that a lot of those things were symbols that reflected very deep realities that, again, physics has been confirming. And so, in essence, Ecclesiastes was quite right. There's nothing new under the sun. And so modern science, modern physics, modern medicine, modern nutrition are nothing but rehashing all these old concepts. So to symbolize all this, it was just amazing, such serendipity. I began to see that the caduceus, the symbol of the medical profession, in the hands of Hermes, said it all. And that's a power of symbols. And the ancients knew that only those who dedicate themselves to dig deep can enjoy the fruits of reality, if you will. And so that's a big reason why they couched a lot of their insight in symbols. And it's not that it's secret, but it's sacred, meaning the profane, those who don't understand, are likely to trample on simple ideas when they're not ready to receive them, to understand them. So that's why they're somewhat veiled. But I'm not saying you can't look into it, any regular Joe Blow. Of course you can, and in fact, we'll talk about them today. But I have a hunch that we have a very select audience who already has intuitively understood a whole lot of the things that we're going to talk about.
Well, that's great. And we are going to have a very interesting discussion, sort of introducing this program and the relationship between the ancient Hermetic art and modern medicine, and particularly modern nutrition. And we will go to a break now. We'll be right back. This is Johnny Bluestar, CEO of New Galaxy Enterprises, a media content development company. If you are an author and want your novel adapted to the screen or to the new high-quality TV series developed by Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, for example, I probably can help. My company, New Galaxy Enterprises, is a media content company, and I've worked on a number of adaptations, including a dramatic version of ventriloquist Paul Winchell's autobiography, an adaptation of a novel co-authored by myself and a Korean War veteran, an historical account of the Mexican art revolution, a science fiction screenplay based on a fictional novel account of fallen angels, and many other proprietary and client-based projects. We want our projects to be with high-quality potential and positive intent. To learn more about New Galaxy, see samples of our work, or talk to us about your project, please go to www.newgalaxyenterprises.com and fill out the contact form. If you're not fond of books, you may be interested in watching Dr. Rodier's slide presentation on his website, HugoRodier.com. That's HugoRodier.com. It lasts 48 minutes and explains the simple roots of all diseases with pictures and graphs that are easy to understand. The presentation includes basic principles of physics, philosophy, anthropology, and history to truly integrate the most vital pillars of human health. In Ken Eads' book, The Involuntary Spy, Seth Rogen, a scientist, after having discovered a major deception created by a multi-billion-dollar worldwide agribusiness giant that he works for, is driven by his conscience to release the information to the public at the peril of his reputation, career, and life itself. To do this, he must take refuge in Moscow. Here is an excerpt.
Chapter 4. Yuri helped Seth settle into the safe house in Moscow. Tomorrow night, he would take the 9-hour flight to the Far East. From the apartment, he could see the colorful and distinctive towers of St. Basil's Cathedral from his window, and the glittering gold onion domes of the Church of Annunciation in the Kremlin. This was the Kremlin he had seen so many times on television. Back then, during the Cold War, it had represented the seat of the Empire of Evil. Now, it was oddly beautiful. The American press was already doing damage control on Seth's report to Russia Today. The president called it propaganda, and said that the United States was against the manufacture of biological weapons. Spokesman from the company said that Seth's report to RT should be disregarded as the words of a traitor and a thief. Because of his fleeing the country, Seth's story was discredited in every mainstream media report. "Okay, your name now is George Amers," said Yuri, smiling, holding out documents. "Here is new passport." "I'm Canadian?" "Yes." "Does that mean I have to say A all the time?" "Seth, Russians don't care what you say. But don't talk to people. Don't talk to people. And don't go anywhere. Just to work and back home." "Sounds boring." "Isn't that what you guys do in America anyway?" "Well, yeah." "Okay. Don't make friends. If you want a girl, we get you girl." "That sucks." "Look, it's only for 6 months. Then you can do what you want. If you see anything suspicious, call me." 6 months, eh?